The U.S. Army has introduced a new policy that bans openly transgender individuals from enlisting. This change, which reverses previous policies from 2016 through 2024, was implemented immediately after its announcement. Under this rule, anyone with a history or diagnosis of gender dysphoria is now disqualified from joining the military. Additionally, the Army will no longer provide or fund gender-affirming medical treatments, including hormone therapy and surgeries, for those currently serving. A memo from the Defense Department made it clear: no medical procedures related to gender transition will be offered under military health care. This means that transgender service members who have not yet completed their transition could see their treatments interrupted or denied. The policy was enacted swiftly. President Trump issued an executive order on January 27, 2025, directing the Pentagon to revise personnel policies. Within days, Army leadership announced compliance, halting new transgender enlistments and transition-related care. The Secretary of Defense was given 60 days to formally update medical fitness regulations, ensuring the policy applies across all military branches. Many have drawn parallels between this policy and the military's former "don't ask, don't tell" rule, which was in effect from 1993 to 2011. That policy allowed gay, lesbian, and bisexual individuals to serve only if they kept their orientation secret. While initially considered a compromise, it led to over 13,000 discharges for those who were outed. Critics argue that it forced service members to live a lie, weakening trust and morale. The new transgender policy functions similarly. Trans individuals may technically serve, but only if they conceal their gender identity and conform to their birth-assigned sex. Supporters argue that the policy strengthens military readiness and cohesion, while opponents say it echoes past mistakes, sacrificing skilled personnel to fear-based restrictions. Transgender individuals make up a small fraction of the military, but estimates vary. A 2016 study from RAND Corporation suggested around 2,450 active duty troops and 1,510 reserve members were transgender, roughly 0.2% of the total force. Higher estimates from other sources suggest the number could be closer to 8,900 active duty personnel or up to 15,500 including reservists. This ban also affects potential recruits. If transgender individuals made up about 0.5% of previous enlistees, this could mean several hundred qualified applicants are turned away each year. Over time, the policy could exclude thousands of volunteers, shrinking the military's talent pool. Additionally, removing currently serving transgender personnel means losing trained professionals, which some estimate could take decades and billions of dollars to replace. Unlike "don't ask, don't tell," which was a law passed by Congress, this policy is based on executive authority and military regulations. That makes it easier to change under a future administration, but also more vulnerable to legal challenges. Previous attempts at banning transgender service faced multiple lawsuits, with federal courts questioning whether such a ban violated equal protection rights. In 2019, the Supreme Court allowed a modified version of the ban to take effect while litigation continued, but the issue was dropped in 2021 when the policy was reversed under President Biden. Now, with the ban reinstated, legal battles are expected to begin again. Opponents argue that the ban constitutes sex discrimination and lacks a rational basis, citing past military testimony stating that open transgender service did not harm unit cohesion or effectiveness. Supporters, however, claim that the military must prioritize readiness and avoid accommodations that could disrupt operations. Military leadership is divided. The Trump-appointed defense secretary and other officials have defended the policy, saying the military should focus solely on combat readiness. However, many senior officers, both active and retired, have pushed back, noting that transgender personnel served openly for years without issue. In Congress, the debate has broken along party lines. Conservative lawmakers argue that the military should not be involved in gender-related policies, while many Democrats and some moderate Republicans see the ban as unnecessary discrimination. Public opinion remains divided. According to a February 2025 Gallup poll, 58% of Americans support transgender service, down from 71% in 2019. Republican support has dropped significantly while Democratic support remains strong. LGBTQ+ advocacy groups and civil rights organizations have already vowed to challenge the ban in court, arguing that it undermines military readiness by driving out skilled personnel. They point out that other nations allow transgender service without issue, and they emphasize that anyone qualified to serve should be given the opportunity. The fate of this policy is uncertain. It could be reversed by a future administration, struck down in court, or upheld as a permanent military standard. For now, it represents a major shift in the U.S. military's approach to transgender service, one that will impact thousands of service members and potential recruits. The debate is far from over, and the next few years will determine whether this policy remains or becomes another chapter in the long history of military inclusion debates.